Entrepreneurship, I always say, is like the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, I'll do the morning workouts, I'll do the CrossFit routines. The consistency it takes to like succeed starting your own company is so hard. I can't believe I did that. End of Q4 of 2024, honestly, was probably the hardest time of my life. I had the valleys of valleys, the lows of lows. I literally was like, we're not going to succeed. We might have to shut like this business down.
Today, he's the founder and CEO of Spacebar Visuals. He's interviewed 300 plus entrepreneurs, accumulating over 10 million total downloads. He's passed the 1 million subscriber mark on YouTube, made the Austin Business Journal's 25 under 25.
I feel like I'm like shutting down now. Like I'm like closing, but
Don't close on us.
That is what I'm talking about when it comes to like building resilience and like building confidence. That is truly at like the core of like, if you're going to build something, those are the moments that test you, and you're either going to break or you're not going to break.
No!
Yeah. See?
What?
Now you know why that's my biggest insecurity. That's
That's terrible. Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another episode of David's Saturday Night Sit Back, the podcast where we tell stories that will light your internal fire. Whether it's business, fitness, culture, or just figuring life out, my guests and I sit down, open up, and deep dive. Most of the people on this show have never told their story like this before, not on stage, not on YouTube, and definitely not on a podcast, so grab a drink, take a breath, and let's sit back together, because tonight might just be the story that shifts something inside of you. Tonight, sitting back with me is a gentleman who graduated in a high school class of 53 people in Iowa, contended with a diabetes diagnosis for over a decade, got the lowest grade in his college entrepreneurship class, got fired from an AI startup, and he also got rejected from business school the first time he applied. Today, he's the founder and CEO of Spacebar Visuals, a six-figure business that scaled in its first year, so they help B2B, they help B2B brands cut through the noise with explainer videos, product demos, and customer testimonials that drive results. Their clients include Vanta, Prophecy, Deskscope, and 75 plus startups with complex products. They specialize in making their value clear in 60 seconds or less. Beyond Spacebar, he's built a career as a podcast host, leading engaging conversations that drive real impact. He's hosted UpFlip, TechGuide, and 10 other plus companies, helping brands connect with their audience through storytelling. Across all his podcast work, he's interviewed 300 plus entrepreneurs and industry leaders, accumulating over 10 million total downloads. If you're into video marketing, entrepreneurship, or just good conversation, this episode is for you. Today, I'm sitting back with me for his return episode, Ryan Atkinson. I wanted to invite Ryan back on the show because since we last heard from him, he's passed the 1 million subscriber mark on YouTube with UpFlip, made the Austin Business Journal's 25 under 25, and joined the Tippy Young Alumni Board. Ryan, I'm excited to sit back with you today. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for the example you're setting. And thank you for what you bring to the table. And welcome to your second episode on David's Saturday Night Sit Back.
Oh gosh, that is such an introduction. My hands are like sweaty just like thinking about that introduction. So I feel like I have a lot to live up to. But thank you first for the invite back. I'm super grateful to be back. I think last time I was here was like 2 years ago. So I know you've come a long ways as like a podcast. Yes, obviously you have an incredible studio now. So thank you first off. I'm very grateful and very thankful to be back. So thank you so much.
Just to kick things off, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. Yeah, it feels good to be back. It's Friday. Feel great. So yeah, I'm good. I'm very, very good.
I just read a ton of titles about you and a lot of things that you can find on LinkedIn, and that's public facing. But I feel like even with everything I said, that doesn't scratch the surface of who you are as a human being. You could also be a son, a friend. I don't know if you might be an uncle or a brother. We didn't talk about your personal family too much. Who is Ryan? If you strip off everything from your resume and from LinkedIn, who are you?
Oh man. If you stripped off everything from there, I mean, like I'm a son first and foremost, I would say, to my mom, stepdad, like dad. I'm a brother to Alexis, my sister Alexis, a friend. That's really like who I am. I don't know. That's we can definitely dive deeper into all of that, but I'm having a hard time answering that, honestly. I feel like so much of my personality is like I put so much like business focus. Like I always like want to start my own company, want to do something entrepreneurial. So I think I might need to like journal about that. Like, who am I tonight? I guess I'm still figuring it out.
Well, even I watch a lot of Kill Tony.
Okay.
Do you ever
Yeah,
watch that show?
I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes with one of my friends, but I haven't. I need to get more in the comedy scene, but I'm not too deep into it.
One of the questions he asks in a lot of interviews is, "What's the most interesting thing about you?" And I was in the gym yesterday. I was like, if I took away the podcast, I don't know what
Who
I
am
would
I?
say. I'm not like, because it's not just who am I, it's what's the most interesting thing about you. I'm like, well, I'm a dog dad, but so is probably a third of the city of Austin. I work out. No one really cares about that. I've skydived 7 times,
Oh,
so
that's cool.
maybe I could talk about that.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. The most interesting thing about myself, I don't know. I think an interesting thing I'm pursuing is I want to solo travel all 7 continents before 30. So I think that's an interesting thing. But again, I feel like a lot of people are like solo travelers, like traveling. But I don't know. I was thinking about this today when I was actually working out. Is like I feel like some people like you'll explain something, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm like really, really good at that, and then you talk to someone, and you're like, oh, like they're way better than I am. I feel like that comes down to like interesting, like, oh, I do interesting stuff, but there's definitely people that do more interesting things than I am. I think I'm an interesting person, but really just depends who you're talking to.
I think you're a very interesting. I will say this, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your butt. You're my favorite person to follow on LinkedIn.
Oh wow! Oh god, I appreciate that.
I think most people just post about like me. I'm probably pretty boring. A lot of my stuff is just like, oh, we're recruiting for this job now. So
Yeah.
unless you're a job seeker, like nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that's part of why I invited you back on, is because just so much has happened over the last 6 to 9 months for you. I wanted to. It's like we got to catch up.
Yeah, no, it's honestly been a pretty crazy 2 years. And I was thinking about that when I was November 2023. Like that was, I think you're my very first interview actually I had when I fully like quit my job, my full-time job to run Spacebar visuals. So yeah, I feel like just so much has changed. I feel like I've changed a lot personally. I've been through a lot of highs and lows in 2 years, a lot of personal development, a lot of like self-work. Apparently I didn't answer the question about who I am, but like at the end of the day, I feel like a lot has definitely changed. And yeah, I know you've obviously changed a lot as well as a podcast host. I'm sure, you know, I don't know what episode I was, but you're on like 136 releases tomorrow. Like I'm sure you have changed a whole lot as like a host yourself if you look back at it.
I hope so. You can tell me by the end of this episode. My beard is thicker.
Yeah. You look great though, so yeah.
I appreciate that, man. So I first opened the door. I thought this guy looks healthy.
Yeah.
This is good. You put on some like good weight, haven't you?
Yeah, hopefully good weight. Yeah, hopefully good
Yes.
weight. But as we were talking about before you started recording, like try to work out 7-8 times a week. I think that might be a little bit too much, but it's a pretty big mix of like CrossFit, just strength training, cardio, pickleball. So hopefully I look healthy. But I was out of Austin for like 2 months this summer. So I was back home, and you know what happens when you're at home for too long. Your mom just like feeds you all this food. You're not as active. So I'll get back into the swing of it. But yeah, it does feel good to be back.
Well, just to ask you an easy question before I dive into the I don't want to call it hard stuff, but the more thought-provoking
sweating again.
Sorry. Maybe I will go turn the air.
No,
Dad,
good.
turn the air down.
Yeah.
Be good for something around here. I know you've already been to a couple countries. So how much progress have you made on the visiting all 7 continents before 30?
Yeah, so I think when we spoke, that was right after Japan, I believe, or right before.
Days after.
Yeah. I think I just got back. So I went to South Africa last year, and then I'm actually going to Australia and New Zealand in about a month. So then I'll only need South America and Antarctica, which I'm hoping to get here pretty soon. But I feel like once I get like Australia, that's such a big one. It'll be nice because like I'm over the halfway point. Like I'm almost there. I only need like 2 more. So yeah, a lot of adventure still ahead, but a lot of adventure had, I guess.
Yes. You've lived a lot of life for under 30 years old.
I try to, man. As you alluded in the opener, like I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been diabetic for 10 years. So like, I feel like there is a little bit of like urgency to like, you know, do stuff, like kind of like get moving. I know, you know, the older you get with diabetes, the harder it may become. So I don't know. I try to live like every day, just like with experiences and like do as much as I can. I feel like that's just a good philosophy. Is like I like to build up these experiences, like have these experiences. So I've lived a lot of lives, but again, trying to have a lot more lives coming up as well.
Have you looked into whether it's like talking to doctors, podcasts, articles, books, have you looked into, is there any preventative things that you can be doing to sort of keep your diabetes either where it's at or even lessen it so that way it doesn't turn into this like monster of a fiend when you're older?
Yeah, I mean, a lot at the end of the day is just like keeping control of like your blood sugar, keeping it within range. You don't want to be too high, you don't want to be low, and that's a whole science to break down, and I'm still trying to figure it out 16 years later. But again, that kind of goes back to like why I feel like I eat pretty healthy. I like to think anyways. I'll definitely have my like sweet tweets every now and then, but as you have to as a human. But I try to eat like pretty healthy, and that's why I work out so much. Is like I gotta stay in shape. Like I know I can't just like let myself go. A lot of that is probably rooted in diabetes, but I do also enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. All right, good. It's good you enjoy it, and because it's good to start with a why. I've never read Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, but I feel like just from the title, you could sort of glean like what he's getting at. But it also helps like you enjoy it, because if you didn't enjoy it, I'm sure there's days where you're like, I should work out. I already did 3 times this week, so I'll just skip today. But if you enjoy it, like it's so much easier to get in there or even overdo it, like what you were saying.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it, that's, it's just like I was not raised to work out, but like in high school, like I played sports. As I was in a class of 53, you play every single sport. So just like growing up, like ages like 13 through I graduated, like I had to lift in the morning just for high school sports. So it's just like rooted into my identity to like work out in the morning. I feel so off. As I was telling you yesterday, I didn't work out in the morning. I don't know the last time I skipped a morning workout on a weekday. I was just so sore. My legs hurt so bad. But I just felt like off all day. Like it was just weird. Worked out this morning, get done. It's just like, wow, I feel like so much better. I'm ready to go back on the show. I feel good. I feel energized.
That's cool that I'm a diehard nighttime worker-outer.
Oh, really?
I just need I like my mornings to start slow, wake up, do whatever, take the dog for a walk, get 2 or 3 meals in me. I'm up for like 6 or 7 hours and then head in between like 3 and 5 right before that nighttime rush gets there.
I do like the night workout. So when I do CrossFit, I'll do those at like 4:30. I do feel like more energized. I feel like I can actually lift more because, I have like food in me. I have like caffeine in me. I'm a caffeine addict. So I always so I always just like feel so much better. But like, it's just so nice to start. I personally just love like waking up every morning with a good sweat, knowing I move my body. I feel like for me, it's like a tone setter. I try to do it like every day.
I understand it logically. It makes a lot of sense to me. And I did it for, I don't remember what year it was, but I gave it an honest try from, I think it was like January through May one year. Not as like a New Year's resolution. No, okay. No. It was more of just like or maybe it was. This was like 2017. I just remember it happening, and I thought it was hell.
That's fair. No, it's
and there'd be other people, and they're like deadlifting their max at 5:30 a.m. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
I don't get people that will walk in the gym and like first thing they have in their stomach, they're like raw dog and like a Celsius in the morning. I'm like, that has to be like so bad for you. I go to LA. I always get LA Fitness in Lifetime. I go to LA Fitness. I go to the cheaper one. I go to the $30 a month one. Like I'll see people like Celsius at like 6:30 in the morning. Some of them have like lattes from like actual like stores. I'm like, well, like what the heck are you guys like doing? Like it's 6:30 in the morning. I don't want to pass judgment on them, but it's just mind blowing to me.
See, I sort of get the latte. I could see myself walking in with a cup of coffee and sipping on my coffee in between sets. But any energy drink, Celsius, Red Bull, Monster, like before 11, it just seems wrong. It's like you don't need I'm not going to make I was going to say steak for breakfast, but we actually do put those in burritos. And I was going to say pizza. I was like, no, I've had that for breakfast too. So I'll just leave that analogy alone.
I will never judge someone for drinking coffee. It's like the lattes that are like super, which at the end of the day is coffee, but that are like super like spruced up. They have like all the stuff in them. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that just seems like so much. But respect to people that do it. I just personally couldn't do that, but 100% like respect to people that like actually do that.
Hey, whatever you got to do to make it to the gym.
Honestly,
if you need a little bit of a crutch to get yourself in the door.
As long as you're there, as long as you're there. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters. As long as you're there.
One of the funniest things I'll tell you real quick that I ever saw in a gym was a lady was on the, the abductor machines for your outer legs. And in between sets, she reaches down into her gym bag, pulls out a Ziploc bag, opens it up, and starts eating a sandwich. And I was like, is this like you were just so starving you couldn't wait? Is this a medical thing? Like, blood sugar was low,
Yeah.
eat a PB&J. It was just the funniest thing I ever saw. She just gave zero shits. She was hungry. She pulled out the sandwich. She ate it.
Really? Oh, I actually kind of respect that.
Right.
I feel like I don't have any instances of that, but whatever you got to do to get through the gym, I feel like.
Yes. Well, first question, just to kick us off. I watched our episode earlier this week, and when we met, you had just quit your full-time job. You went to Japan, and so you were technically full-time in entrepreneurship, but I don't feel like you were into it because you were so fresh out of your work. Now that you're roughly a year and a half in, how's it going?
Let me take a sip of water to get this one down. It's going good. Everything with entrepreneurship, I always say is like the hardest thing I've ever done. Like I'll do the morning workouts, I'll do the CrossFit routines. The consistency it takes to like succeed starting your own company is so hard. So yeah, that was November 2023. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. When I look back on what we were doing revenue wise at the end of 2023, I'm kind of like scratching my head. I'm like, I really quit my job with like those revenue numbers. Like I can't believe I did that. Like that was just so naively dumb, but I'm happy I did it. 2024 was good. End of Q4 of 2024, honestly, was probably the hardest time of my life. Had the valleys of valleys, the lows of lows. I literally was like, we're not going to succeed. Like I messed up so bad. This isn't going to work. And last November and December, we closed like $6,500 in revenue, which is like, it's good for some companies. The stage we were at, like awful. I was like, guys, like we might have to shut like this business down. You turn to January of this year and it was like a flip. Like everything changed. And this year we have just been like absolutely crushing it, but it's just so crazy to like look back at the end of Q4. And like, I truly was like having hard time sleeping, like anxiety like every day about like, are we going to succeed? I couldn't even listen to like music I was driving because I had like so much anxiety at all times of during the day. I had like, this is probably TMI, but like ulcers in my mouth from just so much stress. It's just like so crazy. So to answer your question, a lot of lows, but now we're hitting some highs. And of course, every day is kind of a battle, but the resilience is definitely built up from that. That was a deep battle scar.
By not having the revenues that you guys had, and by having your back up against the wall, do you think you may have pulled some superpower out of yourself that you wouldn't have found if you weren't in that situation?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know about that. I would say looking back at that now, like having that very tough time for like 3 months, it makes like harder situations easier. Because like now I can reference that. It's like, oh, we have a bad August, for example. Now it's just like, we got through 3 bad months at the end of Q4 last year. Like I'm confident we can get that. It's just like, it's the stuff that pressure tests you as an entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur, I'm sure that people are listening that who want to start their own business or starting their own businesses, like everyone's going to get pressure tests. There are going to be moments where you're going to quit. I'm honestly like not shocked I didn't quit, but I feel like a lot of people would have quit considering like what I was personally going through last year. Like it was a very dark like valley that I was in. And I'm happy we went through it. I know that's crazy to say, but like it truly has made me like a better leader, a better entrepreneur, something that like, you know, like I wear that proudly now that we basically almost failed. I almost had to shut a company down after a year of running it full time. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity that it did happen. It sucked in the moment, but like looking back on it, like I'm very, I don't know, grateful. I'll call it grateful that I had to almost like shut a company down because it taught me a lot.
Yes. This might be on subject here. You were featured in the Masters in Marketing, and you'd mentioned that you chased growth and it almost killed you. Does that have anything to do with the 3-month period that you were talking about? Yeah,
I think just like, again, like one, I quit my job super naively with the revenue numbers we had, but 2024, like it was my first full year of being an entrepreneur full time. It honestly feels like kind of how I make the comparison is like it's like a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Like they're kind of thrown into the fire, like kind of go figure it out. But like we were just like, I just wanted to grow so quick, like hire people, get sales in. It was just looking back on it, we didn't have the systems in place. We weren't at the place to like hire like interns to like support them to like actually help us generate revenue. So yeah, I don't know, we chased growth, but now my biggest thing is like grow like mindfully. And I think you saw that in the article. It's like grow mindfully. Like we want to grow, but like we want to be profitable at all stages. At the bottom line, like your number one goal as an entrepreneur, this is my view, is like be profitable. Like revenue will solve every problem. Profit will heal every problem. So, yeah, grow mindfully, I think, is like my biggest thing right now.
What about in the last year and a half? And if this is the same answer, we can breeze through it. Was there any part of the year and a half that was unexpected? This could be a good thing, a bad thing, a funny thing, anything that you were just like, whoa, wasn't expecting that to happen.
Honestly, my answer is
all of it.
All of it. Yeah. Honestly, like probably succeeding. 2025, we have like absolutely crushed it. Like we have done so good, and I'm so happy with like the numbers that we're gonna do this year, and even what we're projecting to do next year. Like it's crazy. Like next year we'll probably be doing over like $500,000 in revenue. Like that is insane. Like for some reason that number just feels like holy shit. Like this is like a legit company now. So I'm super just happy with like what we've done this year, and just I was talking to my co-founder about it. He's like, this was like January, February. He's like, what's changed? And I was like, I was just like, I think we're just like luck. Like we were so unlucky last Q4 where like I feel like a little, obviously we changed stuff, but like I feel like a lot of it comes down to luck though when it comes to like entrepreneurship. But obviously there's a lot you can do to program that luck.
Yeah. One question that I've been asking myself, and please forgive me for comparing my podcast, which is not a for-profit business, to your own journey, but I feel like with 140 episodes in, there has only been one quote unquote bad guest. There has only been one episode that will never be released.
Okay.
And so as I've been thinking about that, I'm like, that is an insane number. Is that due to hard work? Is that due to luck? Is that due to, call it this third one, God, karma, the universe, whatever word you want to assign to it? Because as I think I've told you, I find my guests by just sliding into people's DMs and knowing nothing about them. And so I sort of had the same thing when I think about my guests. Like, am I just getting lucky and the right people are saying yes? Or like how, like the odds are almost would say like this would never happen, that you'd only have one episode that you'll never release.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like a lot of that just comes down to the vibe you bring. Like, I feel like, I mean, you're anchoring like this interview like so well. Like you, like how you set us up for success is like, here's the directions to get in. Like you have like a beautiful studio here. Like you just provide such like a good environment for people to like feel comfortable in. Like you naturally know how to like speak with people. Like you're great at holding a conversation. Like you should look like enter on that. Like you do like a great job hosting where it brings out like the best in guests to like tell their story. And like obviously I'm sure some probably come on here and it could have been an awful interview, but like how you direct the conversation allows people to like come out like in their best way. So I would applaud to you honestly for that, for being for 139 or 1 for 140, whatever. So I applaud you for that, honestly.
First off, thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah.
What is, if you took an honest look at you and your, it's two partners still, right? Is there three of you? What's your guys' superpower? If you look at like how you fostered the last year and got the revenue growth, let's take luck out of the equation for a second. What's that secret sauce that attracts your clients to you guys?
That's a really good question actually. And I have the answer for it. I feel like generally like I do feel like I'm pretty good at sales. I know how to like get people into the door like pretty well. And like once they're actually on the call, like I'm really good at building rapport with people like really, really quickly, with people that are based in Washington that I've never met before, that I'm meeting on like a Google Meet for the first time. Like I'm really good at like building rapport with people and like challenging them on like assumptions that they have about like video marketing and like being like a thought leader for them. So personally, I feel like I'm good at sales. I feel like I'm great at sales, good at marketing, so I know how to get them into the door. And then once they're actually in, I feel like I'm pretty good. I can back that up. I mean, we have, I won't talk about the full process, but we went from like a 23% win rate. This is no joke. These are real numbers. 23% win rate to like a 54% win rate with an average deal size of like 8,000 plus. Like that is an incredible win rate to have. And like, it comes down to like the process we have and like how we set people up for success. But I don't know, I just get to know my clients and build rapport with them. So I'd say go to market, and sales is what got us here.
Almost everyone that's listening is probably selling in some way, shape, or form.
Of course.
When you're meeting a client for the first time, do you have anything you try to do to build rapport? Whether it's simple as like looking at the white dot on the screen so it looks like you're making eye contact, to getting them to talk more about themselves than you talking about you. Like, do you have anything that you do to build rapport in that initial meeting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I do. So as we've talked about, and as we talked about, like, I love to travel. So like, I've been very lucky to be able to travel like internationally, but also like domestically, I've been able to travel. Like, I'm very thankful for that. Something that I always do before I get on a call with someone, this isn't groundbreaking advice by any means, but maybe it is. I'll check like, oh, this person lives in, Miami. Get on there, like, oh, like, you live in Miami, like, I love Miami, like, what part are you at? Are you like within like Brickell? Then they'll open up like, oh, I'm in Miami, blah, blah. Oh, like, how long have you been there? So I try to talk about like the location that they're at, just to like build that quick rapport. What we also do that I think contributes to some sales success. Sales success.
There's the secret.
Yeah, sales success. Sales success is I'll build rapport, and then after that I'll be like, hey, just to set like a quick agenda, this only applies to like B2B sales, maybe B2C, but like just to set a quick agenda today, what we're going to talk about is like why video, why now? We're trying to get urgency out of them. Why video, why now? What brings us together? We'll then cover like our sample videos, our process, our timeline, our packages. If it goes great, happy to set up a second call with you. If not, no worries. Happy to like partner as friends. But anything else you want to make sure we hit on today? Like, oh no, then you kind of dive into it. So build rapport right away, set the agenda. Like, you want to have like good control over the conversation from early on. So that's kind of my tips for setting a good call and also like building rapport.
Have you ever, without saying anyone's name or company names, because obviously we're not here to dox anyone.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen just a sales blunder where you were almost like crying for the person? You're like, just stop. What's been like one of the biggest sales mistakes you've seen?
That's a good question. I sometimes like taking sales calls with other companies just to see like what they're doing. Yeah, like what are you doing? Like, what's your process? Because I'm trying to learn as well. Like, how are other people doing stuff? The biggest sales mistake, like, there's nothing that really comes to mind. It's just like, you have to come off as like warming and like kind of like charismatic on sales calls, I feel like. And some people just come off like a little too cold off of it. And I think that's like the biggest thing it comes down to is like come off as warm, caring, understanding on those sales calls. So that's kind of like comes to mind. There's no like one big mistake that I've seen people make that really, it's just be warm and charismatic.
Yeah. I have recruiting. I work internally as a recruiter, and so outside agencies pitch us all the time.
Yeah.
And I had an individual hunt down my work cell phone number. So I see this number calling. I don't recognize it. It could be one of my candidates. So I pick up. Hi, this is David. And she says, hi, this is Jane from company ABC, and I have a candidate with 7 years experience. Are you interested? And I was just like, 7 years in podcasting, in accounting, in stripping, like, what? And so I didn't. It was just one of those phone calls. I was like, "Is this your first day on the job?"
Honestly, now that you say that, there's like some stuff that comes to mind when people have cold called me before. Like, I was a BDR at HubSpot. I cold called people all the time. Like, I get it. There's some people that call me. I'm just like, oh man, that was really, really bad. Like, really, like, it's very similar to that. They're like, hey Ryan, like, I saw like you're the founder of like Spacebar Visuals, and then they'll just like pitch slap me. That is always like a big no. You always like more sales advice here. I don't want to make this all about sales advice unless you want to make it, but like, you want them to open up first before you even start like pitching someone or telling them like what they should do. Like, you have to understand like their challenges and like their goals before you can even like prescribe anything for them. So that is funny you say that, but I will always tell them, if it's like a BDR that does a bad job, I'll like honestly be like, honestly, I would like change this with your pitch, but like keep it up. Like, I know how hard this role is, but like keep going. Like, you'll get out of it soon enough, because that is such a hard role. So I have so much empathy for people that are in cold calling role. That role sucks. It is so hard.
It is. I was there in 2019, and it's probably the hardest job I've ever done.
Easily.
But you're kinder than I am. I was kind, but I just said, no, thank you, Jane. But have a great day and good luck to you. But I don't know. I'm not going to try to fix that. You know, it's like she'll learn. Once she gets hung up on 20 times, she'll figure out, I'm doing something wrong. What is it?
Something should change. That's like the wonderful thing about sales, I feel like, is like it's immediate feedback. Like, you know, if you're doing bad, if you're doing good, like basically right, like snap on my fingers here, like basically right away. And especially in a cold calling role where you'll call one person and they're like shut up, like you're the worst person to ever like come onto this planet Earth, never call me again. The next person is like, oh, this is a wonderful product, yes, I absolutely like want to like take a call with you. Like, it's just so funny, the cold calling role.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't miss it.
Yeah, I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it at all. But I kind of miss, like, actually I do kind of miss it. It is kind of like a grind of it, but I don't need to ever do that again.
I will say I'll agree with you. There is every now and then when I'll talk to one of my friends in agency, an external recruiting or some sort of sales job, there's a weird adrenaline rush to it because you want that win. So, or at least to be successful, you gotta want the win. So those rejections don't phase you, and you do just keep thinking like, all right, he hung up on me. What do I try different on that? And there is a hunt to it, but to do it full time year round, that's what I'm not built for anymore.
Yeah, I've done that, and that, as I said with HubSpot, that was not fun. But when we were really struggling in Q4, I was like, well, looks like I'm hitting the phones, and I was cold calling people. But what I found was, like, when I was selling HubSpot, like, you know, I loved HubSpot. That was a great company. I had some phenomenal coworkers that, like, I'm still in touch with. I love HubSpot. But like when I was selling my own company, it's just like, I feel like my success rate was like way higher because I knew exactly what to say. I've been through it before. I was 4 years older, so I just had like more experience and like more maturity under me, where like I feel like I was actually like a decent cold caller. When I was at HubSpot, I wasn't that good, but now with like Spacebar Visual, when you're selling your own thing, like you're just naturally gonna be like a salesman for it. I feel like
it helps when you love the product.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's not your baby, you know, if it's something that you can just get behind and you're like, yeah, I'd use this service. People can tell.
I feel like I don't know this for sure because like I haven't been in it, but like I feel like it is hard to like love a product that you're not the founder of. Maybe I'm totally off there and I could be, but like you can love a product, but when you're the actual founder of like conceiving this baby of your company, like you love it just a little bit more, where like that little bit difference makes like a whole lot of difference, honestly.
That's like, even when I was listening to your episode earlier this week, you were giving me some advice in that last episode about making some extra money through getting on Upworks and doing other people's podcasts. And I sort of had that same thought this week. I was like, I could just care less.
Yeah, that is fair.
And I might still do it one day, but like this is mine. Yeah. So I have so much ownership over the, you know, the notes, getting, you know, cleaning up before you get here. Like I think about everything. Whereas if it's someone else's show, I'm like, could I still show up and be the same version of me that I'm here on some other person's show? Probably. I could probably fake it and do a good job and they would like it. But this is a long way of me just saying I agree with you. When it's your own, there's people can tell, they can see that the sparkle in your eye.
Exactly. Yeah. You got a great sparkle in your eyes with it. So
yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's like I said, like I've worked with on a ton of different podcasts, and like I won't name like podcasts that I have. Honestly, I'll do it. So there was like one, I don't care. There was one that I did like a few podcasts with, where it was about like near death experiences, and they hired me because I had, you know, at that point probably 3 years of podcast, 2.5 maybe, somewhere around there. They're like, okay, like you know how to host podcasts, can you do it? I just remember though, I'm not passionate about that subject at all. Like some people are really passionate about like near death experiences. I'm just not one of those people. And it's just like, I would sit there and I was just like, this is like miserable. Like I love podcasting, but like, I don't like these conversations. Seriously. But like talking about like entrepreneurship, anything like that, man, that like fires me up. Yes. That's why I do a bunch of stuff with UpFlip, like YouTube host, podcast host, and like we interview entrepreneurs there. And it's just like, I absolutely love it. Like that's like finding your why. Like having conversations with entrepreneurs is like my favorite thing. It's awesome.
It's fun. It's a good time. That we're going to pivot without pivoting, because this does sort of go into sales a little bit. At Spacebar, or even I guess through a lot of your experiences, you help brands connect with their audience through storytelling specifically. And that word jumped out at me when I was getting ready for today. What do you think makes a good story?
That's a good, knowing like your audience and like knowing like what at the end of the day that they're trying to like get to. I think that's the biggest thing. Effective storytelling is just like trying to resonate with a person, like trying to like make it as simple as possible for them to understand. You know, you want to have like the story arc, like kind of there. It depends like what medium you're telling a story in, but like, you know, we're humans. Like we just resonate with stories more. I had a chief when I was at Lumion. So this was between HubSpot, my career went like HubSpot, Lumion, like Spacebar Visuals. When I was at Lumion, my chief growth officer there was so big on stories, like storytell. And that's honestly why I love podcasting and like love reading books as well. As I feel like podcasting has made me like such a better storyteller. But at the end of the day, like you're just trying to resonate with your audience on something that is like interesting and telling that in like a clear, engaging way that keeps them there the whole time.
Do you do anything to draw a good story out of your guests? When you're sitting down with an entrepreneur, do you ever go into it? It could be case by case or in general where you're like, how am I going to get this particular guest to really shine on this episode today?
That's a good one. I think just in the middle of like conversation is like doing UpFlip, the podcast, like we're at like 1.51. I get a lot of feedback from people. I'm like, oh, like trust me, like I get a lot of feedback from like people that have never even hosted an interview to people that like have, but like making that emotional connection, I think is really big. Like someone could be like, for me, for example, it's like, oh, Q4 was like so tough. Like that was like such a hard time. It's like, well, what did that feel like? Like, were you like stressed? Were you anxious? I feel like that's really like when the stories get good is when you connect emotions to what they're trying to like say. So pushing like a little bit deeper on like a deeper level, like that's when you like really get it out of people, like how they were feeling.
When, when Spacebar started, do you feel like you guys had a story at the beginning, or do you feel like it was something that developed as the journey went on?
We were founded on like the premise of like we wanted to turn like white papers, ebooks into videos. Like no one wants to read a 40-page white paper, 40-page ebook. Like no one wants to do that. I was just talking to someone about that the other day, actually. So that's like what the premise of like what it was on. It's a quick story, but it's like really relatable. Like you just laughed at it as well. No one. And when I tell a CMO, a VP, a marketer, they're like, no, I don't want to do that. So like it's a relatable story. Like we understood nobody wants to do that, and we tell a 15-second story on like what we were founded on, essentially. And that is people always have the same reaction, like, no, I don't want to read a 40-page white paper.
No, I'm good. I'll read a book.
Yeah,
because it's usually a story.
Yeah, but if you're telling me to read a technical 2026 trends report that's 40 pages long, like, no, I will absolutely not be doing that. So no, it's yeah.
What about if someone is thinking about starting a business and maybe there is no story? They're like, all right, I want to start this athletic clothing brand. I have this really cool design in mind. I have some T-shirts. I'm going to print stamp the shirts myself, and they're just ready to go. Do you think it's important for them to develop any kind of story behind the business before they get started?
That's a great question, and I will say when it comes to retail or like a clothing brand, absolutely. Everyone, like, you can start a clothing brand like so easily. How you differentiate within like the retail business and like clothing is like some sort of storytelling element. And that is advice I got actually in the UpFlip podcast from someone. He was like 21 years old. Gosh, I wish I remember his name, but he created like a faith, like Christian brand. And like, that's the advice that he said on the podcast is like, there's so many clothing brands out there. The people that are actually going to be able to connect with their audience are the ones that can tell like a story about like how it was founded, like what this clothing brand is like based on. So if you're a clothing brand specific, just saying that, you have to be able to tell like some sort of story to be able to connect with your audience. There's so many clothing brands out there. So how do you differentiate yourself? All comes back down to like that story of like what you're founded on.
I'm reading this book right now about it's called a marketing book for lack of a better term, and this clothing brand, whoever.
What book?
You're going to laugh when I tell you The 33 Laws of Business and Life by Stephen Bartlett.
Oh, okay. I love it.
My hero.
Yeah, Stephen Bartlett's great. Yeah, he's great. I think we actually talked about him last time on this podcast. I was rewatching our podcast as well.
We probably did.
Anyways, yeah. I don't want to ruin your train of thought, but yeah, keep going.
No, you're good. But in the chapter I read last night, he was talking about how he used to wear this particular brand of clothing where they made every single shirt and shoe and pant look like a work of art. And so he felt like he was wearing something very unique that not a lot of other people have. And the owner of the business one day put a video up somewhere on YouTube, let's say, of him touring the China factory. And he saw the exact same shirt that he was wearing in the video being pumped out by the thousands.
Oh,
and
man.
it was so disheartening that he didn't want to wear it anymore because it went from being something unique to, oh, there's millions of these being made. It was like, why did the owner do that? As I was reading that story, I was like, why did he think that was a good idea?
Yeah.
He ruined his own business.
Yeah, I feel like, but like the story's there, like you felt like everything was like a work of art. Like you truly felt like that. Like, so like I can't give great advice for clothing brand just because I've never done it before. Sure. So like there's people that give way better advice and they could probably call me out and say this is actually awful advice. But like I truly do think like if you're starting a clothing brand or really any company at this point, like you have to have the story. I feel like when, especially in those startup days when you're trying to bootstrap, get off the ground 0 to 1, it all comes down to like how well you can like tell a story. That goes from clothing brands, agencies, maybe software companies. Again, I don't have experience with software, so I don't want to give advice there that I can't, but you have to be able to tell a story. You have to be a good storyteller.
Yeah. In the podcasting space, have you done anything over the last couple years to proactively become a better podcaster?
Oh, that's a really good question. I feel like I read 2 books. I read a few books actually. Gosh, I wish Andrew Warner was one of them. Phenomenal book. Stop Asking Questions is a great book. I think that's what it was. Then there was another one as well. I also read a book called like The Art of Storytelling that was really good. And then another book. So I probably read like 4 books that were really foundational to like good podcasting. Then just honestly hosting it, like being proactive about it. I've used ChatGPT a little bit as well. Like where can I improve? Like what else can I do? And honestly, just getting the reps in. Like I've done like 300 or something, like low 300s, and like it's just so crazy to like look back and be like so much different from episode 550, even like 100. So that's why I was excited to come back because I was like I know like he's made like so much progress in like hosting ability. Like I just know because like I've been there as well. So actionable advice there. Read those books that I just kind of gave, but like it really just comes down to reps and maybe use ChatGPT if you want, but you want to still be like authentic.
Yeah, I turn on, as I mentioned before we started recording, I turn on the podcast for Thad and I just put it on rerun and it goes through random episodes. So when I get back home the other day, it had gone to episode 1 and it was so cringe. And I was just like, turn that off. Like, we don't want to, like, I'll never take it down. Because, again, it's part of the story. And if someone wants to go through the catalog, I want them to be able to see all of it. But, yeah, just hearing that for even 20 seconds while I fumbled for the remote was just, it's painful.
It is super painful. And honestly, what else has been really helpful, again, with UpFlip, like, that's very, like, high visibility. Like, 1.51 million subscribers, and like some of the episodes that I've done personally have gotten like 700,000 views, like 800,000 views. Trust me, I get flamed in these interviews, but they made me better. Like some people are just like, a really bad habit that I used to have when interviewing was like saying yeah the whole. That was probably so annoying for the listeners. I apologize, everyone. But imagine that for a 30-minute episode of me doing that. So having that feedback from like the actual audience and then just the team has made me like a much better interviewer, where like I basically have eliminated the yeahs, but like trying to get feedback from people, it's a little hard. So maybe that's where you use ChatGPT, but I feel like that's been really important for me to like actually become a better interviewer, is get feedback from like an external perspective. It can be hard if you don't have a team, but maybe use ChatGPT for that. That's been really helpful for me.
Outside of filler words like yeahs or whatever it may be, what do people roast you for? Because I'm not there yet. So I'll get a comment every here and then, but the audience is still pretty quiet. So for better or for worse, I'm not exposed to that yet.
Yeah.
What do you get roasted for? Yeah. I'm going to throw an espresso bean at you every time you do that.
What's so funny that you said that though, when I had a bad habit of saying yeah, the UpFlip team was like, you have to stop. And so how I stopped was every time I said yeah during an interview, I would have to do a push-up. Cut it in like half, like right just like that. What people have, I get a lot of yeahs. Honestly, I get a lot of people that are like this guy is just like an anxious ball of energy, and I kind of contribute that to just drinking like a ton of caffeine. Like I drink a lot of caffeine during these shoots. They're really long shoots. A lot of yeahs, a lot of like too high of energy, but like that, again, that's my personality. Like I'm a very high energy person, so it's kind of hard for me to scale that back. But a lot of yeahs, that's the biggest thing. Some people have commented like really just like too energizing. So that's basically what it is. But man, dude, there was one comment I did on a video where it was like, it was literally from like trucker guy like 69. Like that was literally like I don't even know what it was, but it was something like that. He was like just from his contact photo, he was like a 70-year-old man. He was like, I'm a trustworthy guy, and I can tell you right now, I would not trust these two people with my life or something.
Oh boy.
I have an episode coming out on Monday with UpFlip. I'm so excited. I'm not excited to see the comments, but like they're just like really funny. I don't know, because it's people that like have never even hosted an interview. They have no idea, and it's just I don't know.
Have you guys ever thought of getting someone on the team who can address the comments but keep yourself and the owners away from them?
Yeah, so we have someone on the team that'll like comment back and stuff, and yeah, so there is someone that'll comment back. But I think what I'm gonna do for this next episode is I'm gonna set the tone. I'm gonna like comment right away, like a really positive comment to steal it, like trying to like get some positive energy in there before the haters come in.
Yes. One of the few negative ones I got was a friend of mine was on the show, and about an hour and a half in, I was starting to get hungry, and so I had a bag of pre-made popcorn. I said, "Do you want to have some popcorn while we finish this?" And he said, "Sure." So I go and pour us both the bowl, hand it to him, and as he's talking and going to say something, he goes to toss a piece in his mouth, and it hits his chin and rolls down his shirt. He picks it up, he eats it, didn't think anything of it. A couple weeks later, the episode comes out, and someone with no picture on their username, user XL17, whatever, says, "Oh my gosh, you guys, I was enjoying this interview so much until you just started throwing popcorn around the studio, and it was so unprofessional, I had to turn it off." And I just thought, you're telling me that you genuinely enjoyed the conversation, but because Sutton missed one piece of popcorn, you actually turned it off? I don't know if I even believe you.
That's the life of like a YouTuber right there. And like honestly, it's kind of funny when you get the negative comments, because that's when you're like, oh, like I kind of like people are like starting to watch that I don't know. Like I feel like that's kind of like a fun feeling, but dude, like it is. There was one episode where I feel like I had like 5 or 10 like really negative comments, and like it doesn't really get to me, but at the back of your mind, you're like, oh, like, am I actually like, I've done this like 300 times, but like, do I just like completely suck? Like, why are people just calling me out? You have to take it with a grain of salt. Like, they have never done it in their life. So I think it's kind of funny now, honestly, when I see some of the negative comments. But yeah, that's kind of funny.
I'm glad you think it's funny. As humans, though, I think it does affect us.
Yeah.
Do you do anything, or have you done anything to sort of let it roll off of you?
I wish I had an answer for that, but like, no.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, I just kind of like read it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just so busy that like, I don't know. I don't let it like impact me. So I wish I had like a better answer for that, but like, no, I just like don't absorb it. If I did think about it, I would just honestly journal to get it out of my mind. But yeah, no, I don't really. If they comment, I'm just like, whatever. I'll do a dislike comment.
One time I went through, there was one, I can't remember which episode it was, but whatever we talked about, it actually got 5 or 6 people to all make a negative comment, which is a ton for me. So I went in there, and after every single one, I tagged them, and I said, "Hey, I appreciate you watching, even though you didn't like it." And I basically copy and pasted and said the same thing to all of them. And then some random dude or gal jumped in and said, "Look at how nice this guy is. You all try to roast him, and he thanked you all for watching."
That's honestly like the best way to approach it. I feel like Elle, the Boardwalks.
Yes.
Yeah, she had. I know she was getting some hate comments when I think she was like Forbes 30 under 30 for like hosting the walks. And Elle is like incredible. Like anyone that knows Elle is like, she's incredible. But like I remember she was like, people were hating for her on like X, and like she came with like so much like warmth, like who Elle is, like so much like warmth and like love and like care, and like the person was like, oh, like I'm sorry. So I feel like that's honestly like the best way to approach it. That's just one like story that kind of comes to mind for that.
Yes. Well, let's talk about podcasting for a minute. Since there's a lot of people that do it, there's probably still a lot of people, even in 2025, who are launching new shows. I think the first question I want to ask you is, let's go with this one. 1 million subscribers, 10 million downloads is a huge milestone that to early creators might feel like it's a little bit impossible. They might be doing it for a year, and they could be averaging 10 downloads per episode, 20 if they're like, I am there.
Yeah.
I've been there too. What advice would you give someone to find inspiration from people versus comparing themselves to those people and almost becoming angry at strangers they don't even know?
Yeah.
Does that question make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Inspiration. I feel like, I don't know, like honestly, going back, like I feel like it all starts like with your why. Like, are you having fun with the conversations? Are you having great guests on? Do you like enjoy doing it? There's going to be so many people out there that are way more successful than you, but what will keep someone going from podcasting and not burn out is like having fun with the conversations. When I started podcasting in like 2021, I was literally getting I was a senior in college, like I was getting like 10 views or downloads, whatever it is. But like what kept me going is like I just genuinely love the conversations. Like I thought it was just like so much fun. It was like a creative outlet for me where like I never was honestly like chasing like, oh, I want this to be like humongous. It's just like I'm having fun like doing this. Like this is like a no pressure situation. I get to talk with like amazing people. Like why are some I was like 22 and like why are some of you guys talking to me? But that's what I found the podcast on. I wanted to have the Business Cloud was my original one. I wanted to have conversations with people that wouldn't have conversations with me. And podcasting was like a great outlet to do that. So I think like you just have fun with it. It's hard to see other people succeeding if you kind of view it like that, but like there's a lesson to be learned. Like Stephen Bartlett, there's a lot of lessons to be learned about him. Like he's a phenomenal podcast host. He's like built some incredible, like an incredible brand there. So there's just a lot to learn, and I don't know, try and flip it from I'm jealous to like, oh, I'm going to learn something from this person, I would say.
Yeah, I watch him. When I watch his show, it's oftentimes with a notebook.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not one of those podcasts where I can listen to while I'm driving or sometimes while I'm exercising. But some of them, especially when he has on a former CIA agent or FBI agent, and they're either talking about profiling, catching liars. That's the kind of stuff. I don't think there's liars on my show, but I think the more we, as a podcast host, the more we figure out how humans work, the more we can drive these conversations so they're either entertaining, motivating, whatever the desired outcome is that we're trying to achieve. And so I think, you know, if you study them, you could learn a lot from them, and then you might start to admire them versus being like, oh, fuck that guy and his million views.
Yeah.
You know?
No, seriously, that's like the thing is like you got to find like inspiration. I don't know, if you're getting jealous for like someone else's success, like you kind of need to do some like internal work, honestly. Like you got to feel like happy for this person. Like as we were talking about before we started recording, like I get it when people like are starting podcasts or like just starting like a business and stuff. Like I'll always support them. Like that is so hard to do. That is so ballsy to do, to like put yourself out there with like content creation, starting a business. Like I get how hard it is. So I want people to succeed. I know, you know, I've had like people reach out and like tell me like, oh, like it's like really inspiring, but like truly at the end of the day, like I feel like anyone can do this. Like anyone can like start their own company. Like anyone can like do what I've done. Like I truly do think that. It's just like you have to be like super consistent and like have the discipline. Like there is nothing special about me. I grew up in a 7,000 person town, a class of 53. I got rejected from business school for the first time. I got the lowest grade in an entrepreneurship class. Like there's nothing special about me. I'm just like, I will say like I'm just consistent and I'm like very disciplined. That's like the biggest thing that just like comes with life, honestly. Like I'm out of a class of 53, I think I was student like 27. I had like a 3.1 in high school. like it's just, I don't know, just be consistent, like just be disciplined. That's like the best advice I can get for someone just starting from like 0 to 1. Like it's going to be hard. It's going to suck. I almost gave up, but like just don't give up. Like just keep going.
Something I wouldn't say I gave up on it, but I'm curious what your take on it would be. Tyler, my friend that I was telling you about, who helped set up all this, he said, hey, let's start he didn't even call it a networking event, but he said, let's create a meetup where you find like 10 other podcasters and I'll find 10 other musicians, and we'll invite them all to a coffee shop. And even if 5 out of those 20 people show up, we can have a conversation with 3 to 5 other people who are in our space and just see where it goes. Maybe we'll have each other's backs. Maybe we'll never see them again. But if we don't try, you know, we'll never know. Especially, and I'm sure Elle's Walk started like that.
Yeah.
You know, she probably didn't start with 100 people in attendance.
No.
And I found out through a couple months, what I did was I was using LinkedIn to find podcasters in Austin, and I'd flip over to Instagram, I'd slide into their DMs, and I'd try to get them on the show. And then during the episode, or at the end of the episode, I was going to invite them to this meetup. And what I found was that podcasters, not only did they not come on the show, they didn't respond to my messages, and ultimately they were the hardest group of people to work with. So I've got on documentarians, I've had on MMA fighters, I've had on fitness coaches, and out of all these different wildly populations that are doing other things, I had you, Ernie, and forgive me if I'm forgetting someone, but I think I've only had 2 podcasters on the show. So I went back to Tyler. I was like, we can invite Ryan and Ernie.
Yeah.
But have you ever tried to network with other podcasters in Austin, and did you have any success?
You know, I'm very indifferent about like networking. I'm very, very indifferent. I am so sorry to say that. I wish I would say yes to that. I am like I'm not anti-networking in any way. If someone wants to have a conversation with me, I will never shut them down. If someone's like, hey, can I pick your brain? When I was Austin 25 under 25, I had like 4 people reach out like, hey, can we do lunch? I will always say yes. I will always say yes. That going back again, I know how hard it is to actually start something. I will always give advice. I always will. Like I feel like I need to pay it back because people have given me. Networking though, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I'm not like a very like I'm not antisocial. I love talking with people, but like I just don't think there's a lot of value in networking. That is such a hot take. It is, but like I'm such like a doer. Like I feel like if I'm networking, I'm not like working on my business, not like working on other stuff. Like instead of going to a networking event, like I'm just gonna like work on my business and like try and get that further. I think there is value in networking, but it needs to be done like correctly. So I wish I had a better answer. I'm kind of anti-networking though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That makes me want to ask you, for people like yourself, you know, when I talked about the live podcast happening next year, the audience, as I imagine it in my head, will probably be like 50% guests and their friends and family, 50% either audience members or people I personally invite. Yeah. And I just have this mental image in my head that it's not going to be a networking event, but I don't know what else to call it. But I think if you were to collect 60 people under one roof who had all been on the same podcast, and they're all entrepreneurs, they're all building businesses, they're all other podcasters, they're all documentarians, there's this like special thing that might happen when you're very intentional about the audience. You're not just spreading the net to all of Austin. It's almost like a invite only event, and we've selected you to come to it. Does that have a different feel for it, and something that would be more worth your time?
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't. How I would market that personally, and again, I said I'm good at sales. I'm a good marketer. I would say I'm definitely above average. How I would market, I would not mark that as a networking event, for one. I'm only one data point, so take my word with a grain of salt. I could be completely wrong. I could be in the minority here, but I definitely not market that as a networking event. Okay. I would also tell people, like, we're only inviting 60 people, and like your hand selected, like, come, like it's all my past guests, interviewees, etc. That's how I personally would go about that. I would not, I don't know. I wish I could tell you what you should market it as. I just would not market it as like a network event, but I would try and make it like pretty selective, add some like scarcity to it. That like the principle of marketing is scarcity and like urgency. Have scarcity to it. Say we're capping this at 60 people. You're one of the people selected. That's how I would go about doing something like that. I've never thrown an event, so I'm one data point, but that's how my thought process is with it.
It's an invite-only DSNSB mixer.
There you go. Seriously, no. I don't mind the word mixer, but like seriously, I love like it's invite only. We're only sending this to 60 people. Why not? Like seriously, I wouldn't do networking. I would add like scarcity to it. I don't want to cap you because maybe 500 people would show up, but like I do think having some scarcity to it like adds an element to it.
It's an invite-only DSNSB hootenanny.
Hootenanny, yeah, there you go. I like it. But if I could give like marketing or sales advice to someone that is watching, 2 great books. The Psychology of Persuasion. I think everyone should read that if you're a marketer or you're a seller. $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi as well. I know people are going to be like, oh my God, this guy listens to Hormozi. I know everything about him right now. I like his book. I don't love Hormozi. But anyway, scarcity. I remember there's a study that was done of like, there was 2 study groups. One of them had a full jar of cookies. One of them had like 2 cookies. They did the research on it, and the jar that had 2 cookies were rated as tasting better, even though they're the same cookies, all because there's less of them. There's more value like to them. That's why like brands like Gucci or like Louis Vuitton, when they say they only have 100 or something, it drives up the value of it like crazy because there's scarcity to that.
All right. You've given me some things to think about. I appreciate this.
That was a long-winded on like kind of my core marketing principles.
Going back to podcasting in general for a few minutes, with either UpFlip or any of the podcasts that you've worked on,
Yeah.
did you see anything that they did at like the 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, pick your milestone of your choice, where they started to build that foundation and then they realized, okay, this could actually turn into something? Did they intentionally change anything, or is it almost more of like a let's just stick true to who we are and keep things going as they have been?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not like reinventing yourself like basically every day, like you're gonna die. I think with UpFlip, so I joined their team. I've done probably close to 100 episodes with them. So I've done probably over half their podcast episotive. I think the biggest thing with the podcast and the YouTube for them, they've grown it to now like 1.51. I think the biggest thing is like what I've said earlier. They've just been consistent. Like they just post regularly, but they also mix in like a really high production with it. Like if you watch some of the intros for UpFlip, they're insanely good. Like they're just different, and like you really have to like hook people in like that first minute long. I'm not answering your question at all, but like consistency is like what it comes down to. I don't know if they've had like a big pivot moment by any means, but it just comes down to consistency, especially when it comes to like podcasting, YouTube, everything like that. The more reps you get in, the better you'll get as well.
Yeah. I promise I didn't just ask you here today to ask for advice on my own show, but one thing that one of my buddies asked me was, he's like, a lot of podcasters, like the successful ones, the Chris Williamsons or whoever, and you put the name in place, they hook the audience within the first 1 to 3 minutes. And he's like, with your guest's intro, what if that's, the conversation hasn't started because you're using that real estate for the intro. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I feel like I can never compromise on those because the guests, the way they react to them, just like you did today, it gets them fired up. So if they're fired up, I'm fired up. And I said, I don't think I could ever compromise on that. I feel like I just need to keep it there. And it could be the hook. Maybe when people hear that intro and they hear about, how he quit his job, how he failed out of school, the way you're building a business, maybe that will be enough to be the hook. And if it's not, then maybe we'll just always have 500 subscribers and we'll never grow past that. And I'm okay with that. Maybe.
Yeah. No, at some point, no. The only thing, so if I could give feedback on like the opener, I would say like I thought it was like a phenomenal. I mean, you saw my genuine reaction. I would probably, how I do it at UpFlip is I tell it in a story to kind of, again, that's literally my opener is like, imagine this, you're 23 years old, you just got denied from business school, you've got the lowest graded in like a class. Fast forward 3 years later, you now built a successful 6-figure business. Tell it in like maybe like a story format instead. That's what I do for all the UpFlip openers is I try and make it a quick story. I would also, you need to plug like, the Hootie to the mixer. I would probably put that at like the 5 or like 10 minute mark as well. Like just not have it be like a sponsorship like right away. You don't have to take my advice by any means, but that's the only thing I would do differently just based off of like my experience with like podcasting. But I loved your opener. I thought that was awesome. I felt like so like wanted here.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did. I go back and forth with it every time, but I think that's great advice to turn it into a story because I don't think I can take it out. I just don't want to.
No,
I just don't want to.
I don't think you should take that out. That's like sets the tone. I just tell it in a story. That's the only thing that I do like differently, but I have like a very similar opener there. It's just in a story format.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I appreciate that very much. I don't know if you've ever heard this statistic, but did you know that of all 90% or of all podcasts that start, 90% of them end by episode 3, and that of that 10% left, another 90% stop recording by episode 20. Have you ever heard that stat before?
I believe it. I might have. Yeah, I believe it.
You might have wrote that?
No, I didn't write. No, I was going to say, I feel like I might have even said that on the last episode that I was on here. I say that all the time when people ask me about podcasting. Like, people just quit so early.
We could speculate all day long as to why. Have you ever talked to a podcaster in real life by chance and found out what their reason was that they ended up ending their show?
Ooh, I don't think I actually have. I wish I could say, I sat down with a friend like 2 months ago and he was telling me why. I really don't know. I think it just comes down to like, generally my first like 150 episodes or so, like I was literally just doing it for fun. Like I wasn't monetizing, like there was no like money being involved. It was just genuine for like fun. So I think if you get started with podcasting thinking you're going to make money right away, unless you're Alex Cooper, like you're not going to, like you're just not going to. So not having that why. I feel like that's like a common theme I'm like saying. I didn't even intend to
that
come in.
That can be the theme of this episode. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Trust me, I didn't even come in here like thinking like I'm going to like make that the theme. I just think like, I don't know, they just get in for the wrong reason. They don't know how hard it, like easy, how how hard it is, I should say, to like actually like fully produce an episode, from like preparation to actually hosting an interview to actually like post production. There's just like a lot of hurdles you have to get to like first your episode, but I don't know. I don't think they know the time commitment it actually takes unless you have a team right away.
Yeah. I did have one guy a couple months ago. He brought a dozen donuts with him, which was super nice.
Fun.
And when he walked through the door, he said, "Oh, I brought these donuts. Where's your team?"
Oh man.
And I said, "Brother,
I am the team."
Yeah, and the little furry guy over there, he might have one or two. But
I'm the creative director, the interviewer, the post production lead, and then I've got my assistant. That you are looking at the team.
It was like, in some ways, it was like the biggest compliment that he thought there was a team bit backing this. I was like, no,
it is insane.
No.
Like looking at your setup, you guys need to give David some kudos here. So make sure to like and comment on this episode that he's doing a great job, because you deserve it. Because like it is like a really professional like setup. Like I think it generally like looks great with like this and like all of this. So yeah, like kudos to you. Like this is a really cool studio for just being like in your apartment. It does look like you have a team here.
I appreciate that. And what I would say just in return is go check out The Broken View, because it was actually their band members that have been backing this podcast just out of the goodness of their heart, because they've listened to some episodes, they loved it, and they said, we want to help you out in some intangible way. So since they're the ones who made the studio happen, I would say if you need some new alternative rock music in your life, you can find them on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. They just had a new song come out called Too Soon that is a slapping rock song.
There
and
you
if
go.
you're about to hit a PR, turn on Too Soon. They'll get you through it.
There you go. I love it. See, now that's how you can see your sponsorships moving forward. Just plug it just like that. Just make it supernatural like that as you did for them. That's not your That's not a sponsor, but just like that, it's supernatural.
Yes. No. Okay. I'll have to do that with the event. I'm getting that out of the opening.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? You had in one of your Instagram posts about 4 months ago, I took a screenshot if you want me to pull it up and remind you what you said. Do you remember how you defined confidence?
Oh gosh.
Do you want a reminder?
Wait, this is on my Instagram?
Not your Instagram, sorry, your LinkedIn.
Oh, I was gonna say, how do I define confidence? I don't know. I'm gonna say what my answer is now, and I'm curious what I said on LinkedIn, but confidence in the honestly just like going through like hard times. I feel like that's how you like actually build confidence, is like going through those really, really hard times. But I'm curious what I said on LinkedIn here.
You nailed it. Sort of.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What did I say?
You said confidence doesn't come from winning. People think momentum builds confidence, but I found the opposite. It's the bad months, the bad weeks, the bad days. It's the setbacks, rejections, and being ignored by prospects. But when you get through that and you face the next setback, you can think, I've been through this once, I can do it again.
I said that on the episode. Yeah. So that is kind of what confidence like comes from, for me personally anyways. Yeah.
So if you want to become confident, seek out bad times.
Honestly, yeah. Probably. If you want to build like mental toughness, I think that's a lot for me. That's why I do love CrossFit. CrossFit is so hard, but like, you know, you get mentally tough from that. You go through like the bad times doing it, and just like in your business, like you're gonna get punched in the face 1,000 times, 1,000,000,000,000 times, but it's about getting yourself back up, and that's where that confidence comes from. Is like, I've been through this once, I can do it again. That's what confidence is like rooted in me. So like, it's good to have hard times, and like you need to be thankful for those times. It sucks in the moment, but like you have to be thankful for it.
I'm curious to get your take on this. There is an episode of a podcast I was listening to the other day where they were interviewing a former CIA agent, and they asked her, how do you build confidence?
Yeah.
And she said, I know a lot of cops. And oftentimes when cops are on the beat by themselves and all of a sudden they have someone with a gun in their face, they have to make a split decision. They don't have time to email their chief and say, hey, there's a guy with a gun in my face. What should I do here? So she said her advice was, if you want to build confidence, make split decisions. Just go with your gut. You come to a fork in the road, you can go left or you can go right. You're the business owner, you're the podcast host, whatever it may be. Maybe you're even the employee, but you have to choose a direction to go. Don't ponder on it. Don't ask 6 people to affirm your decision. Just go with what you know, and even if you mess up, it's fine. But her advice was just make the decision quickly. Since you've been on this 18-month road of entrepreneurship, have you found yourself making decisions quickly and listening to your gut, or what's sort of your take on what her definition is?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And like an example I use is like picking out like your shirt in the morning. Like if you can't choose like what shirt you're gonna wear in the morning, and like kind of like an instance, it's like how are you going to lead a team to like make split second decisions? Absolutely. My big mantra with like entrepreneurship, and I advise like everyone like listening into this as well, is like when you're getting started with entrepreneurship, the biggest difference between like a wannabe-preneur, I call them, and like an entrepreneur is the entrepreneur like just took action. Like in that split instance, they actually decided to do something and they took action on it. You're going to make so many decisions through, especially like that first year, that second year of business, where like decisions need to be made like quickly. And I'm going through it right now where like I'm deciding what agency we want to use for like a website redesign. It's taking me like a week to decide. And now I'm kind of like, okay, like I need to like finally make a decision here. So I'm not perfect by any means when it comes to making decisions, but like truly you make decisions every hour in entrepreneurship. So, I love that. Yeah.
So which agency are you going to choose?
I'm
kidding.
We have some options. It's kind of in a hard spot between like a cheaper agency, but also like kind of going with like it's a long story. So as you can tell, I literally have been pondering the decision for like 2 weeks. I need to just finally make a decision on this soon.
Yeah. Now that we've sort of lifted the veil to your journey a little bit, if someone else was following on LinkedIn like I was, you hit the $1 million subscriber the million subscriber mark. You became let me go back to my notes here real quick. You made the Austin Biz Journal's 25 under 25. You joined the Tippy Young Alumni Board. When you combine all this stuff together, did those wins feel like wins, or I'm trying to think about how to phrase this question, because it sounds like in some senses you had a really hard year, but you also accomplished some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So if you blend all that together, what comes out of the oven?
Me. I'm just kidding. I will say like I've been through some stuff where it's like, as we've described on this podcast, where like I've been punched in the face like a lot, and like I've gotten pushed down like quite a lot. I have been like very thankful for some of like the wins that I have had. A lot of it feels like I still have like a ton to prove though. Like I feel like I've accomplished some things, but like I feel like there's still like a ton for me to like actually accomplish. So like while I'm super like happy with, like I'm very grateful, I'm very, very thankful for some of this stuff. It's like keep going. Like I like just keep going. Like I feel like I can get like so much better. My biggest fear in life is like really like not reaching my potential. I don't even know what that looks like, but like I don't know. I just try and strive to be the best like every single day. And like I'm very grateful for like some of the stuff that I have gotten. I'm very grateful to be 26 years old with like my own company. I get to travel kind of like free willingly. I'm very grateful for that, but there's still like a lot to prove. That's kind of my personal philosophy on it. So I'm very grateful, but lot to be proved.
Who are you proving this to?
That's a good question. I don't know. Myself. Damn, that's a hard hitting question. I don't know. Myself. Like I don't know. I just want to make like my parents very proud of who I am and like what I've done. They've given me some very good opportunities that I feel like I need to pay forward to like my kids and like, you know, students at like colleges and like high schools. Like I feel like I could make a decent impact on people. I don't know. I just want to like make people proud, I guess. I don't know. That's a really hard question.
I don't ask the easy questions anymore.
No, that's a great question.
You came in the beginning when I was still figuring it out, and now I figured out.
Well, as I was saying earlier, like how I get stories out of people is like, what's that emotion that you're trying to feel? You just like did that. Like what emotion? Like who are you trying to make proud? I don't know. My parents, those around me. I don't know. I feel like I've just been, there's an edge to my shoulder to like do good in this world. Like I truly believe that.
If I called you said it was mom and stepdad or dad and stepmom?
Mom, stepdad, and dad, all of them.
All of them. So let's just go with your mom. If I called your mom right now and said, "Are you proud of Ryan?" What do you think she would say?
Absolutely. My mom is very, very proud of like who I am, and my parents are proud of like the person I've become. I don't know. I don't know. They are very, very proud of who I am. I feel like I'm like shutting down now. Like I'm like closing, but
don't close on us. We need this from you.
Lean into it. My mom would be very proud. My whole family is very proud of me. Again, like I've been grateful to do some good things at 26, but like again, I feel like I have so much like further to go. Like I feel like my journey is just like truly like getting started. It felt like that when I was here 2 years ago as well. It's like I was just jumping into full-time entrepreneurship. Like I had no idea what I was going to do. I feel like I've done some good stuff in 2 years, but like, again, like I don't know, just the scale of like what I want to do and like the good I want to provide to people. I feel like I'm just like truly like getting started. There's like foundation stuff I would love to do. There's like scholarship stuff that I would love to do. So I don't know. I just need to keep going.
Why do you think you're shutting down in this moment?
I don't know. They're hard-hitting questions. It's hard for me to like open up to, it's not hard for me to open up to people, but like it's hard for me to just like open up to people about that. Those are like deep-rooted like emotions that like keep me going.
Have you thought about them?
I don't think so. These are like great journaling like prompts for me that I apparently need to do more. I thought I've done some pretty good like personal discovery stuff. The Body Keeps Score is a phenomenal book. But apparently there's a lot more. Exactly. There's a lot more for me to like continue to develop and like understand like myself better so I can better serve others. If you thought my hands were sweaty before, they're sweaty now.
Let me ask you a two-part question. Well, you just mentioned what you have to accomplish. You mentioned some scholarships, giving back, things of that nature. Do you think you ever feel accomplished?
Damn, David. Will I ever feel accomplished? Probably not, honestly. Probably not. I don't know. I don't have like, it's kind of a bad thought to have, but I feel like not the goalpost is always moving, but like once I accomplish something, it's like, okay, what can I do like next? Once I accomplish that, like what can I do next? It's kind of like climbing a mountain. It's like keep climbing. Like I hit the mile mark. Now let's get to 2 miles. Let's get to 3 miles. Let's get to 4 miles. I don't know what that peak looks like. I'll know when I get there, but I don't know what that like looks like now. Maybe I need to do better manifestation and like vision boarding, but I don't know what that looks like. Yeah, I do want to have a lot of impact on people, serve them in like a very good way. I think there's a lot that I can do. It's just a matter of fact of getting there.
Do you think you guys take time to celebrate wins? Like when you got out of that?
I personally don't.
Oh.
Yeah, I personally don't. Yeah, I mean, when I was Austin 25, which is like a pretty cool accomplishment, like didn't really like celebrate it at all. Yeah, when I quit my job, didn't really celebrate it at all, even though that's like a pretty cool milestone. A friend actually threw like me a party, like a dinner party. But that was like at like a restaurant. I didn't know like a lot of people there, but like the thought was there from the friend to like
dinner party full of strangers.
Yeah, seriously. No,
we're not doxing you, friend.
No, like it seriously was. It was like a dinner party with like 10 people. I didn't know a lot of people there, so no, I do a really bad job of like celebrating wins, honestly.
What would celebrating a win look like to you?
I don't know. That's hard to like envision what it would look like. I don't know. Like I'll celebrate a win, be like, okay, that was really cool. But like at the end of the day, it's like keep going. Like that's just how I'm like wired. It's like, oh, accomplish one thing. There's still like so much more to be accomplished. So what is a celebrating a win? I don't know because I've never really done it. Take a trip.
Maybe that could be something you could think about because I do think it's good. One of the things that, not to keep quoting Stephen Bartlett, but he's the only one I listen to these days. He did even say himself that he got to a point where when they hit a certain amount of subscribers, he would go tell his team and we'd be like, guys, we hit 100,000. Guys, we hit 500,000. Guys, we hit 1 million. And it got to a point where their reaction was so small, he just stopped doing it because he realized that podcasting, there is no end game.
Mm-hmm,
What is the end game? There isn't one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like, and he didn't elaborate on this, now this is just me speculating and reading in between the lines. I feel like there's got to be some sort of middle ground where Ryan can stay very driven and he can always be setting the next goal and the next milestone and the next revenue marker and the next intern to be hired. But at the same time, you can feel some satisfaction around that because you mentioned that, I have something to prove to my parents, but we already found out that if we called all 3 of them right now, all 3 of them would be proud of you. So maybe are you not proud of yourself? And
oh gosh, I would say I am proud of like what I've done. I am very, very thankful. I'm very, very grateful for the life that I have given everything. I am incredibly grateful for like what I've done. I would say I'm proud of like, I was thinking about this the other day. It's like I quit my job when I was, I think 24. coming up on 2 years. When I was 24 years old, like that's like I would say I would laugh. I like laughed when I thought of that. I was like, that was so dumb. I was so young. I couldn't even rent a car legally. Like, and I quit my job. And like, it's been the best decision like I've ever made. Like, I am proud of like the risks that I've taken. I'm very proud of like some of the stuff that I've done. Yeah, I'm like very proud of like who I have developed in. But like, again, like I do think, there are other levels like of me that like still need to be unlocked. And like every day is just like the pursuit of that.
Yeah.
But like, I am proud at the end of the day of like who I am.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry for all the hard-hitting questions.
No, man, these are great questions. I have a lot to journal about tonight. I'm going to be thinking about these questions all
You're going to
weekend.
be listening to this and just using this episode for your next week of prompts?
Literally, no. Like, I'm literally going to be thinking about this, like these questions, like on my drive home this weekend. Like, I've got a lot of questions to be asking myself here. But at the end of the day, like, I am proud. But what does the end goal look like? I don't know. Maybe I'll know when I get there. But I feel like it's the pursuit of happiness.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you didn't use the bathroom today, and I wouldn't expect you to remember this from a year and a half ago, but there is a sticky note on the mirror, and I've never been a big like vision board guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not me. But there is a sticky note that says your number one metric are you having fun?
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I always sort of go back to that on the days like yesterday was Thursday, right? I did nothing for tomorrow's release, and I almost thought that this was going to be the first Saturday that I did not release an episode.
Don't do it.
Because I had every excuse in the world. I'm not going to go into details today, but the last Friday night through Tuesday was one of the shittiest weeks that I had in Austin. And I gave myself all these excuses of I can give myself a break because of this, this, and this, and this. And I was in the bathroom, as stupid as this may sound, and I had to take a piss, and I saw that sticky note, and then I picked up that. I went over to that recliner. I put him in my lap. I put it in recline. I turned off all the lights. I'm just staring up at the pitch black ceiling, which I couldn't even see. I'm like, you know what? I'm still having fun. I'm going to get this done tomorrow morning. I'm going to wake up Thursday morning at 5 a.m. I'm going to get the episode ready. I'm going to release it, and we're going to just make this thing happen. And I forget exactly what you said that made me think of that. Something about happiness. Oh,
Pursuit of
yes, just
happiness.
that. I think that hopefully for you too, that you can find those moments to be happy, and you're not so busy chasing the milestone that you forget to just be happy every now and then as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like I definitely am a very happy person. I kind of want to put my podcasting shoes on and ask you why you had such a bad week, but I will.
It's too soon.
I won't do that.
Come back in 3 months and
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
mentally ready.
Yeah, but seriously, like when you think about that, is one that is like incredible discipline. Like I am applauding you for that. I know how easy it is to be like, I'm just gonna skip it. Like no one's really gonna say anything. Like I'm just gonna skip it. Don't do that. Like do not do that, because once it happens once, it happens again in 6 months. It happens again after that in 2 months, and then it's the end. Don't do that. Like I applaud you for doing that. And again, that's something where like you'll think about in 3 months when you're having that same exact demon thought process of like, I'm not going to do this. And it's like, well, I woke up one Thursday morning at 5 a.m. and I did it and I got this episode published. That is what I'm talking about when it comes to like building resilience and like building confidence. That is truly at like the core of like, if you're going to build something, those are the moments that test you and you're either going to break or you're not going to break. That is just another milestone for you to put in your back pocket to always remember and be like, I got it done then, I'll get it done now.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for that. And, yeah, I didn't mean that to bring that up to brag about myself, but more so just to tell you that you are a happy person. And I hope it's not just on the podcast. I hope I feel like the times that show true character are when we're alone. So I hope that when you have those moments that when you're driving or you're working out, you can take a moment to not have a million thoughts racing through your head of what comes next, but you can just be like, man, I got awarded the 25 under 25. Like, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back and be proud of Ryan for 5 minutes here.
Yeah, no, that is, I am very happy. One thing that I do like every night is when I like journal, I'll always like write down like what I'm grateful for like that day. Like it'll be 5 to 10 things, just what I'm grateful for. That contributes to my happiness. I feel like so much because you're always just like reinforcing like what you're grateful for. But yeah, it's just it's so funny because like Q4 last year, I was probably, I don't know if I was super unhappy, but it was just so hard. And it's just like, I remember when I would work out in the morning, this is insane. This shows you how bad of a rut I was in. I wouldn't listen to music. What I would listen to for like an hour is like manifestation stuff. Like I am confident. Like it was just like literally like a 4-minute loop of like, I am confident. I am confident. Then we go to the next one. It's like, I deserve wealth. I deserve well. That is what I worked out to for like a month and a half, because music gave me too much anxiety, and like I needed like something to like keep going. Like that's that's kind of what that reminded me of.
Now, for some reason, that tickled my funny bone, and I laughed. But
Yeah.
did it help?
I don't know if it helped.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it helped, but
It didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt.
Hopefully.
It didn't hurt. That is for sure. But it's so funny. I think like those just like affirmations. I do think affirmations are important, but like I needed it. Like I was down so bad last year, but now I'm here, and like I generally am like a very happy person. I'm very grateful for the life that I have, so I don't know, there's no reason for me not to be happy, honestly.
Are there any affirmations that you wish people gave you more? Like something that would just light you up if you heard it?
I don't know. I'm a words of affirmation guy, actually. That's like one of my love languages. I'm sure there's like a lot that come to mind, but yeah, I don't know particularly. I am a words of like affirmation guy.
Is it because you want them to be genuine? So it's not a specific one. It's more so
it's
like
more genuine.
It's more in the
yeah.
moment of someone acknowledges whatever the thing is.
Yeah, this actually happened to me at the gym the other day. There was so as I was saying, I go to LA Fitness. Yes, I always get LA. I said that earlier. I always get a mix up. I said that earlier. The other day, literally, someone approached me, and long story short, she was like, "Oh, I just want to tell you have like really pretty eyes." I was like, that is like so nice. I have a girlfriend, so I didn't care, but like I was like, that is like so nice. So that like genuine, like someone approached me and told me like I felt like so good about my eyes. I don't get that every day.
The genuine ones do feel good. I've seen I've had some stories from some of my gym friends where someone will randomly pass them in the gym and give them a compliment, whether it's your arms look good, your tattoos are cool, your eyes look pretty, whatever it is. And they all, as they're telling me the story, they're smiling ear to ear like someone just handed them $1 million bucks.
The best compliments is like guy to guy in the gym. They're like, dude, you're looking like great. That a girl can compliment you in a gym. That will set you on a whole new level of like, oh man, I'm a badass today. Like that is like one of the best feelings in the world. Guys need guys.
We do. Guys, no one's complimented me in the gym in the last 6 months, so if you could. No,
if you're watching, get to David's gym, compliment him in the gym. And we all deserve it. You look great though.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to switch gears a little bit here just because time is flying and I want to be respectful of your time. I asked you a question on the guest forum, and I'm going to reframe it a little bit now that we've had this conversation to see if maybe a different answer comes to mind. Is there anything going on in our culture?
I knew this was going to be the
that
question.
has caught your attention? And I've heard everything. To give you some examples that you probably won't be yours. I've had people tell me modern day sex cults. I've had, of course, AI is like the most common answer. So let's not go down that route.
Yeah, I won't say AI.
Yeah. But is there just anything that as you've gone through the last 6 to 12 months, you just sort of went, huh, that's interesting.
Oh man.
That's funny that you knew this was going to be
Yeah,
the
no,
question.
I knew this was coming too. I was gonna text you today and be like, hey, like for that culture question, like I can really talk about like anything, but like I don't know what to talk about for culture. Gosh, I don't know. Like I really don't know. Can you ask that question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll try and think of something. Let me dial in here.
As you've been just going through life
Okay.
in 2025, has there been anything you've seen, witnessed, something new that's hit the market, an article, a podcast you were listening to where it just caught your attention and you thought, oh, I haven't been giving this enough thought, or, oh, that's still going on today?
Yeah.
Anything like that?
I mean, oh man, there's a lot that's happening in our world. Politics that I like don't really want to like, there's a lot out there.
You want me to give you an example?
Yeah,
to give you time to think?
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I produce podcasts and I listen to podcasts.
Good man. Dedicated to the craft. Give him a like, give him a comment, give him a subscribe right now.
Thank you. You're the best. They were interviewing a dating coach, and so she had a client who came to her for their, I think they met bi-weekly, and her client told her, a guy asked me on a date, and she said, oh, good, so you guys are going to go out between now and when I see you 2 weeks from now, and she said, yes, I will. Fast forward 2 weeks, and the dating coach is really excited to see the client, hear how the dates went, and so she asks her, the coach asked the client, how did the date go? And the client says, I didn't go. And the coach says, oh, what happened? And she said, well, the first time he asked me out, it was in the morning for coffee. But I can't go out in the morning because, as you know, I wake up and I do my yoga and then I do my meditating and I do my journaling and I can't interrupt any of that. And then he asked me out again on like a Thursday night at 6 p.m. But that's during my gym time. So I told him no because I can't go to the gym. And the coach said, wait, stop. So you're telling me you're still interested in this guy. You want to go out with him. He asked you out 2 separate times and you said no because he's disrupting your perfectly optimized schedule. And that made me think, I wonder, I'm making a large generalization based off one story, but if one person's doing it, you and me both know other people are doing it. I wonder if we are living in a culture where we're so obsessed with having the quote unquote perfect schedule that we're missing out on business opportunities, podcast guests, potential love interests, because they are quote unquote disturbing our perfect schedule that we can never ever stray from. And that's been on my mind for like 3 weeks because I was mind blown. Like, why didn't she just go on the date? Skip the gym. Go out to dinner with this dude.
Yeah, no, that's I feel like a lot of like dating, Austin dating is so hard, but like a lot now that I've been in a relationship for almost a year now, I feel like a lot of it just comes down to like, is this person actually ready to get in a relationship? Is this other person actually ready to get in a relationship? Like, timing is so important. For that instance, it sounds like, and like, I'm not a relationship coach by any means. It sounds like that person's just like, they're not ready for a relationship. If they're not ready to commit 30 minutes, 45 minutes to like learning someone, can you imagine like what that relationship with that person would like be like? Like, they wouldn't give up like anything. It's a funny example. Last night I was texting my girlfriend, Catherine, and I'm babysitting a dog right now. And I've always been like a big advocate. Like, if I ever get a dog, the dog's not allowed to sleep in the bed. Yeah, I know.
You didn't hear that, Thad.
You just heard the bed. But whenever I babysit dogs, I'm like, oh yeah, like they could like sleep in the bed. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm with them for like 2 weeks or like 2 days. But she's always like, oh, they need to sleep in the bed. Long story short, I was like, last time I was like, okay, like if we get a dog, like we can, like they can sleep in the bed. But I was so like gung ho on like, if we get a dog, they're never sleeping in the bed. So it's like, if you're gonna be in a relationship, like, your schedule, your way of life is just going to be a little bit different. But if you're ready to like give some of that up to give, I think that's like what makes a relationship, is like you have to be able to give something up for somebody.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up this specific example, and then we'll move on from the culture thing. But just last night, this is hilarious that this came up. I was in bed, and Thad was cuddled up next to me. I was on my side, and he jumped into bed, and he laid down so that his back was against my back. And it just comforts me. I'm like, this is nice. And I thought, I wonder if I start dating someone and they have an issue with this. Now, sex is a different subject, right? Yeah. Thad will be 6 rooms away when that's happening. But in terms of just going to bed at night, I thought, if they don't want him in here, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, no.
And I'm putting the cart way before the horse because I'm not even dating right now, but it still came to mind.
No, seriously. Yeah, no, I understand that. And like literally going into like 3 days ago, I've been like, the dog will never sleep in the bed. And like, I was young Cohen. She's like a big dog lover. Like, I absolutely love her for that. Like, it's so cute. And she's like, no, the dog like will sleep in the bed. I was like, no, the dog won't sleep in the bed. Finally, last night I like gave it. I was like, yeah, like we get a dog, like it'll sleep in the bed. But like, again, like people have to be willing to like give up. Relationships are so hard nowadays, especially. I think I talked about it actually last time I was on this episode. Like, everyone's just swiping. It's like, if there's something wrong with this person, then this person like won't have that issue. I'll just go to them. That person will have an issue. I'm just gonna go to this person. So like, dating's just so hard.
It's funny because Justin, we're in September. About a month ago, a friend of mine moved out of Austin because he was sick of the dating market.
No way.
That was his number one reason.
What was his like age range on that?
He is 26, and he generally tries to date younger.
Okay.
So he didn't give me like a minimum maximum, but I would assume like 21 to 25-ish.
I will say, I went through that in Austin. I found my girlfriend when I was 25. No chance you're getting. I mean, there's definitely a chance, but like dating in Austin, dating a 23-year-old that just moved here from North Carolina, California, Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's like college, like all over again for like some of these people. It's just like, I'm moving to a new city. I don't want to get settled down. That is a really, really hard age to date. And like, honestly, I feel like, you know, girls are emotionally mature. Guys, like, they can definitely become. They're definitely less emotionally mature at that age. And I'll talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
like they're definitely less emotionally mature at like 22, 23, where like I don't know if they would be able to even like handle. Like, if you're 22, 23, like I would encourage you to not look to date and like honestly like work on yourself.
For him, I would say, yeah, he's definitely an exception. I won't get into his story, but I could see why for him, he had to, yes, probably for a lot of the reasons that you just said, is a lot of the females in that age bracket probably just moved here, and the first thing they're looking to do is probably just to keep having fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's better states and better cities to like find a relationship at 22, 23 than Austin, Texas. I love Austin for a trillion different reasons, but that is one of the reasons why there's reasons to improve in Austin. I don't care anymore because I'm happily taken, but like, yeah, that's an issue. I went through it for 3 years when I lived in Austin.
Guess where he moved?
Dallas.
Europe.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh, I thought you were going to say like New York or Florida or San Diego. You're leaving the country. He's not moving permanently. It's a 6-month trip. But he was like,
Good for him.
I want to get a feel for the dating scene in another country. And so he did some research. He did listen to the podcast, did some reading. And he's like, I'm going to go to Europe for 6 months.
Where's he going? Is he going all over? Or?
No, it's 2 places, 3 months in each.
Okay, where?
I forget. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah.
He told me on a podcast that I've not edited yet, so you know how it goes. They like black out until you edit them, even though we're stone cold sober right now.
Sometimes I'll when I'm editing like an UpFlip podcast, it's like I'll like see the name of the person. I'm like, I have no idea what I talked about this person. I'll hear their voice. I'm like, I have no idea this person. I have to go like back to Riverside and be like, okay, what does this person look like? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that from 2 weeks ago. But it's like I'll see some titles. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. I feel really bad about that, honestly. But
you don't understand unless you've been on a podcast or hosted one. There's just something weird where I call it podcast land, where memory does not exist.
Yeah, you just like black out during it. Like you have like no idea. Yeah, or once after. No, I feel that so much. When I was doing actually the Business Cloud though. I did 86 episodes with that one. I could remember I still could probably remember every guest because I was having to do like the guest outreach and I was actually doing like research on them. And this was before like ChatGPT where you could just write like a BS message to send out to people. Wouldn't encourage you to do that, but like my first 86 episodes on the Business Cloud, I would probably, if you told me a name out there, I'd probably remember what they look like. There's a few that may blend together, but when you're doing like the guest outreach and like the research, like I don't know, I kind of remember. But for UpFlip, I love UpFlip. I love everyone that comes on there. There are some people I'm like, I have no idea what I talked about.
It's not personal. It's just the messiness of being human.
No, seriously. Yeah. I wish I had a perfect memory, and I wish I could, but like that's not who I am.
Yes. Ryan, as we wrap up, I have 2 questions for you. This one I've asked about 10 or 12 people now, and all of them have given me wildly different answers. And so I want to keep asking a few people just because I've been liking where the conversation is going.
Okay.
What gives you hope?
God.
God?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you pretty rooted in your faith?
Yeah, I'm starting to get like much more rooted in my faith recently. I'm starting to like read the Bible and actually like dive like really deep into the Bible. I've always been like a very like steady like churchgoer, but now I'm actually like really starting to like read the Bible. Like I would say that is like really changed in me in the past probably like 2 months is like reading the Bible. I think it does give me like a new perspective. It gives me a little bit less like stress on the world. So yeah, that would be my answer.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's been a uptick in people searching for faith recently.
For sure.
Have you heard more people talking about this?
Yeah. I think it's always been kind of like not a trend, but like people have always seen
God is trending.
Yeah, no, but yeah, go on next. No, it's I feel like a lot since I'm on Twitter a lot. I feel like a lot of people since the Charlie Kirk assassination, a lot more people are like starting to get like really interested in like church. I don't know what for whatever reasons there, but it's all like really good things. I've seen a lot of tweets of like I'm going to church for the first time in like 12 years. Like, do I need to like wear anything special or like act a certain way? Like, no, 100% you don't have to do that. But yeah, I think it's good. Like, it's a really good thing. Like the values that you will learn in the Bible, just the moral like principles and like having that deep rooted like faith and like hope into God, I think is just like it is like kind of life changing in a sense of like it's just a different perspective I view on the world. And I'm only 3 books into it. I've read Matthew, Mark, and I'm halfway through Luke right now. So
you should skip to Revelation.
Yeah.
You'll get some good insights there.
Yeah, I have a long ways to go in my faith journey. That'll always be, again, just who I am as a person. Like it'll always like be developing, but like past like 2 months, 3 months that I've started to really take it like serious of like reading the Bible, it has been a great experience.
Yeah.
What have other answers been? I'm curious.
So one I'll give you is that I actually had a guest about 2 months ago who was a trauma specialist.
Okay.
And we ended up scheduling his episode about 2 months out because he was one of the first guests to give me homework. And he assigned me... The look on the face that you just made was priceless. You're like, who the fuck is this guy? Sorry, I'll try not to cuss as much now that I know you're trying to...
No. It's not like that.
He asked me to read The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I said that. I referenced that earlier.
You did.
Yeah,
phenomenal. I thought it was funny you brought that up. I wasn't going to ping off it because it wasn't relevant. But anyways, his answer when I asked him what gives you hope is that he feels like just the strides that we're making in how counselors are counseling their people with like depression and anxiety, different drugs that are coming out. He feels like the world is just much more better equipped to help people who are having mental health challenges. And so for him, he feels like professionals in the mental health field have this this belt of tools that they can now use to help people get from point A to point B. And maybe the tools that they were using 10, 20, 30 years ago either didn't exist, they weren't very well thought out, maybe we weren't talking about mental health, so when someone felt depressed they didn't even want to say it because it was like taboo. And so that was one of the answers I thought was pretty cool.
That's a great answer. And I was in therapy last year around this time, and it was I read The Body Keeps Score early last year, so early 2024, and that kind of like got me down like, oh, like who am I as like a person, like what are some of these things that like I shut down for and like etc. Read that book, very phenomenal book. And then I went to therapy around this time last year for like 3 or 4 months, and honestly, incredible experience. Like they'll ask you like tough questions, but you just understand yourself better as a person. And I feel like I got so much more like emotionally mature because I'm able to like really like understand, oh, if I'm acting like this might like be the reason why. I that's honestly a phenomenal answer. I'd recommend any like guy to do therapy. There's a ton of value in it.
It's funny you say this because I'm going to my first therapy session ever next
Dude,
Tuesday.
Let's go. Oh my God, I'm excited.
I feel like I need that. One of my friends...
Dude, I'm so happy for you. That is awesome. That is incredible, but I didn't want to cut you off. Like, that is insanely great. So
I'll just say it's quick. One of my friends said, we can only see in front of us, but if you have an unobjective party, he can or she can see above you, to your left, to your right, behind you, and underneath you. And so just getting that perspective could be extremely helpful. And that line in and of itself, I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll go.
Oh, I'll try it. Yeah. No, it's a great experience. The only reason I stopped doing it is because my insurance changed and they weren't provided. And I was in a pretty good, I was in like a good, I feel like I didn't like really need a therapist at the time. I wish I was still doing therapy though. Like it's such a great experience. Like you'll learn so much about yourself. That's why I loved it, because they're really good at like probing questions about like, why are you doing this? Or like, how did like your childhood impact like who you are today? I love that type of stuff. Like that stuff like I eat up. Like that stuff like is so much fun to talk about. But you'll have a great time. I think
you'll have a great time.
No, you will.
I'm not going to Disneyland, brother.
Yeah, no, you will have a great time. I'm excited you're doing it. I recommend like anyone watching to like consider therapy. It's a good experience.
We will see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear how it goes.
Well, Ryan, before I ask you this final question, this has been a phenomenal episode. We covered so much in such a little amount of time. You're articulate, you're thoughtful, you're transparent. You let me ask the hard-hitting questions.
You did ask some hard-hitting questions.
So just thank you so much for everything that you brought today. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity to come back. That was really good. I will say, I don't know what episode I was last time, but you have come like a very long way. So that's honestly what I was like pretty excited to like experience today. I'm kind of off like doing like the podcast like guest route right now, but when you invited me back, I was like, I'm absolutely going back. I'm super happy I came back. You asked some like great questions. So yeah, thank you so much. You make it such an easy conversation. It's crazy. It's an hour and a half has flown by or whatever it is. So thank you foremost for inviting me back.
You're welcome, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. Well, when the audience sees how I'm going to end this, they're going to be like, did Stephen Bartlett pay David to do like an unofficial commercial for him? So I don't know if you know, but the Diary of the CEO, they end all their episodes by asking their guests a question that the last guest wrote for them.
Okay,
without knowing, who the guest is going to be. And they turned all those questions into cards. Yep. And I had to buy a deck.
Of course,
and I thought, I'm going to start fanning these out and asking my guest to pick one. Okay. And to read the question into the microphone and give us your answer.
Oh, please be an easy question. Please be an easy question.
It's not going to be.
Just kidding. Let's do this one. Oh, my God. What is your biggest insecurity?
Oh boy.
Biggest insecurity. I was really fat as a kid. Like, I was huge as a kid. I was like 5'5", like 160 pounds in like 5th grade. I was 160 pounds in 5th grade. I want to reiterate that. I was huge. I feel like that was honestly probably one of my biggest insecurities, like growing up. And like, I work out so much because like I do have diabetes, but like I never want to get like bigger again. I like the weight that I'm at, but I don't know. I just feel very healthy at the weight I'm at. I have a fear of getting like, not healthy weight. So I would say that was probably my biggest insecurity. My last name's Atkinson, so when I was growing up, a lot of people would call me Fatkinson.
No!
Yeah. See?
What?
Now you know why that's my biggest insecurity. That's
that's terrible.
So I would say that. So that's now you see why that's my biggest insecurity. So I would say that's probably mine.
That's like,
imagine being 5 years old being called that.
oh my God.
If you want to talk about going back to therapy for like childhood trauma, that's what I should go back to therapy for.
That's like as bad as poking someone in the stomach and being like, "What's that?"
Well, probably people did that to me too, but that's what I would answer for that.
My goodness. Well, Ryan, this has been so much fun. Thank you for everything again. I really appreciate it. To the audience, if you guys enjoyed this episode, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube today. Hit the follow button if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And my commitment to you will be to keep having internal fire lighting conversations with guests just as awesome as Ryan. And if you're in Austin, come to the Christmas. Well, it's not the Christmas Hootenanny. Sorry, that's coming up next. So that's on top of mind for me right now. Come to the DSNSB Hootenanny. It's next February the 28th. Send me a DM for the information and we can get you on that invite list. And in the meantime, I hope you have a healthy and happy Saturday, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.